This show furnished by Karl Gerber and Employment Lawyers Group.
Now the only thing I want.
Talk Radio 790 KABC. Good evening, Lakewood and the rest of Southern California. You're listening to the Karl Gerber Workplace Lawyer Show, and I'm Karl Gerber, real workplace lawyer. This week we found out U.S. debt is up 77%, but only 40% if adjusted for certain, I say certain, but I have no idea what things they are. Is this a case of botulism? I think not. London doctors this week believe they may have found a cure for HIV. Is there a correlation between this and socialism? I think not. We've got a whole lot of rain lately in Los Angeles. Could this be due to a leaky toilet at City Hall? I think so. This is going to be a wonderful show tonight with wonderful people saying wonderful things. You'll have a wonderful experience and leave feeling wonderful. I just told a lie. As the listeners might expect, the world of people willing to appear as guests on this show, or at least the degenerates referred to me by Remus Helms, who made his fortune off his penis being infringed, or Fred Lines, the near 80-year-old truant officer, are slim pickings. Stan Katzner, who's normally on at midnight, 19 hours before this show, turned me down on account he normally sees his kids on Sunday night. A Los Angeles mediator, a renowned one, had makeup tickets to Justin Timberlake. So I've actually stooped to the bottom of the barrel full of joy buzzes and broken plastic eyebrows. Or the nadir, if you're an erudite. Yes, I've really stooped. I've really stooped this time. In fact, tonight we have Dombass, who is largely considered the most incompetent employment defense lawyer out there, a general disservice to the employers of the state of California, a complete ripoff, and if that wasn't enough, he used to work for Queen's Carpets. We all know is owned by the evil Myron Alfombra, pronounced Matting, but spelled M&M. Please, sound engineer, no round of applause for our guest.
Hey, excuse me, but did I miss something? Who's, Nadar?
Nadir is the name, not a name in this instance. It means the lowest.
The lowest? Lowest price? Yeah, that's me. I can defend almost any employer for right about $1 million short of the first trial. But that doesn't cover all those appeals or the second trial if I'm so lucky to get that billing opportunity.
Dombass, could it be more than $1 million to get close to trial for one of your clients?
Oh, yeah. I'd like to reach the point of being able to tell clients it's $2 million. But, yeah, I haven't quite been in practice for 10 years. You know the game. To get $2 million before trial, I've got to get the right clients. Really stupid ones with lots of money. Yeah, first-timers, too. Hey, if I could only be so lucky to get a big company that doesn't monitor their bills too good.
Well, how is Lisa Glickman, the owner of the Perfection Real Estate team, who sued for controlled standby pay? She got sued. Does that fit into your business model?
Oh, that Lisa Glickman with the butt complex. Pink toggle switches. She's a special case. I've taken her for a ride. But, her husband, Ramsey, put the brakes on any more bills.
You don't have any qualms about completely ripping off a client, do you?
I still think it's caveat emptor. I was thinking about what you told me on episode 18 of this here show about how the lawyer has to put their interests first. Now, why would that be?
Dombass, you have it wrong. The lawyer has to put the client's interests above their interests. That's the law.
Wow, that's sure a stupid law. I didn't become no lawyer to be a Joan of Arc.
Whoa, that's one of the 1,037,008 differences between the two of us, Dumas. To tell you the truth, I got into this lawyer racket because I wanted to help people win them spectacular courtroom victories, change the law, affect societal change through the law, and wear an expensive suit while doing it.
Well, you sure are a silly guy. Like I told you, 10 years ago, I was selling the same carpets for the head and also down-home floors in Queens. Yeah, not Brooklyn. I finished my mail-order law program at night and decided it's time for old Dombass to strike gold. I come to California where I figure I'm gonna turn my ever-growing Berber toupee, that at the time was really Berber and not nylon, into gold, baby.
Were you planning to wear gold on your head?
Well, now that would be a nice fixin', huh? Just like those great ball players who wear them Minotaur headpieces to congeal in all their brain cells together as one. One head united and together. Until the Minotaur headpiece comes off when they shower. Hey, imagine me wearing a 24-karat gold toupee. They'd call me old Goldhead.
I'm not gonna say whoever they are would call you the Golden Boy.
You make it out like all I came out here for was to wear some golden trophy on my head. That sure would be nice, but, you know, at the time there was a track called Hollywood Park in Inglewood and Santa Anita not too far away. I had lots of reasons for my relocation.
So how are you coping now that Hollywood Park is a wannabe football stadium and Santa Anita is closed indefinitely due to multiple equine deaths in a short period of time?
Hey, I know you get a lot of 858 area codes and 619 calls. Do you have a place I can crash at this summer somewhere maybe near the Del Mar area?
And if I did, I certainly wouldn't avail it to your disreputable lifestyle. You'd probably sell my lawn ornaments to fund your bets.
Disreputable me? The state bar can't touch me. They never touched me. Don't touch that. Hey, is that your state bar card you're pulling out? Hey, can I use it?
You can't touch this.
I always identified more as a beastie because Adam was born in the same place as me, Brooklyn.
No.
And MCA was from Brooklyn.
On episode 18, Dumas, I impeached your claim that you were from Brooklyn.
Gee, why you always so hard on old Dumas? Aren't you gonna ask me how everything's been going in my department?
Fine. Have you built anyone lately? What state bar rules have you violated?
Hey.
Okay. How's life been treating the most disreputable lawyer I know?
It's been raining lots of this last week and lots the week before. Rain, and I don't even have any gold on my head.
Thank
on
God.
account of those circumstances. I've been meaning to ask you if I could use your conference room for one of those deposition on my account of my office being remodeled.
Dumas, this would be a perfect opportunity for you to get out of your lease and get a better office.
Why would I want to do a thing like that, huh? All they've got up right now between the Nuru massage rooms and the front of the strip mall shop is that thin painted plastic stuff.
Ew, just the thought of that makes me want to wash my hands. How can you get any work done in that completely unprofessional environment?
Oh, yeah, it's not easy. A cookie with her smooth body oiled up. Oh, mamma mia. It just makes me want to get one of them good Nuru massages.
Well, Dumas, Have you guys started the soundproofing process I heard about on episode 43 of this show, which incidentally can be heard at Karl Gerber with a K on YouTube or workplacelawyer.org, past episodes?
Oh, no soundproofing yet. That's the beauty of the situation now, that all the walls are down. The cookie and the atai make them beautiful moaning noises.
Folks, this is disgusting. If you want to call me about a real workplace case, please call 877-525-0700. I can beat people like Dombass. Hopefully, 877-525-0700 for Real Employee Lawyer. Once again, I am a lawyer. I can be reached at 877-525-0700. I'm looking forward to hearing from you. This is Talk Radio 790 KBC.
I'm billing time. If you stop me at parties to wine and moan, I'm billing time.
Since 1993, the Employment Lawyers Group has been a consistent force in fighting for the rights of California employees. They've represented thousands of employees in cases in which they've lost their jobs, been sexually harassed, discriminated against at work, or owed wages individually or as a group such as a class action. The Employment Lawyers Group has maintained a high win rate and a serious record before the California courts. Please call 877-525-0700 for an experienced work lawyer. That's 877-525-0700. They have call takers standing by. Online, research the firm at worklawyerca.com. They have offices throughout Southern California. If you hire the Employment Lawyers Group, your legal problem becomes theirs to solve.
The beacon of common sense. AM 790 KABC.
Is her job back. We get it. You're listening to the Karl Gerber Workplace Lawyer Show, and this is Talk Radio 790. Before we broke, we were talking to Dombass, who's a very disreputable employment defense lawyer, and he's not the kind of guy that would use a spoon when he eats. So getting back to that conversation, Dombass, who just described to us that he has an office in the back of a Nuru massage clinic, and they have painter's plastic separating the rooms. Dombass, I shudder to think what your clients would think on their way from the front door to your back office and in between all the painter's plastic and noises along the way.
Well, to tell you the truth, since the remodel, I've taken in about 10 clients.
Jaime, the General Contractor, appeared on show on February 10th on episode 43. I recall he was about to start the job back then. I can't believe, Dombass, who's taken on so many clients in such a short period of time. This sounds like a different business model than the one you're known for, where you have only one client at a time so as not to create 16 to 20-hour billing days for more than one client a day in case those clients ever compared medium-sized Post-it notes.
Yeah, you sort of encouraged me to broaden my horizons and get more clients.
I was more encouraging you not to charge Lisa Glickman for 16 to 24-hour days when you only worked on her case a few hours a day.
Well, remember, some of my brightest ideas come to me when I'm sleeping or getting a Nuru massage, but now I've got clients on 90% contingencies.
The fee paid to an attorney needs to be conscionable. A lawyer charging beyond market rates is charging an unconscionable fee. Employment lawyers never charge 90% of the gross proceeds recovered on a case.
Well, I've got to tell you about these clients. It was hard to get them, and their cases are hard, too.
Not sure that justifies a 90% fee. A 90% fee seems to concede the case can't be won, which might mean the lawyer can't take the case because he's not presenting the court with a meritorious position.
Oh, no, these are real good cases. First, I got the guy with the white Ford Ranger. I don't want you thinking I solicited him. He didn't exactly come in presenting himself, telling me about his problem.
How did you score that particular client you were telling us about?
Well, I just lost a motion that cost my client $50,000 to bring. There wasn't no chance in hell we would have won that motion anyway. I see between the painter's plastic. There's a guy in room 3 getting a Nuru massage, and I notice he's got a butt tattoo. I'm trying not to look, but a kooky is dangling her things in my direction. There's this guy laying there, and I see that tattoo on his behind of Molly Machete using a Remus Helmsdahl to commit non-sexual buggery on a terrorist. You know, cyanide capsule and all.
Is this like a reunion? You see this guy with this totally bizarre tattoo engaged in some illegal massage, and you're like, hey man, let's high five. Then reminisce about when I saw you bending down gathering up drywall debris, and I didn't look the other way when your crack was showing.
Yeah, sort of, but I'd only seen his truck up until that point.
There are a lot of white Ford Rangers out there.
Really? Is that why they're bringing Ford Rangers back?
What kind of legal issues are you representing Mr. Butt Tattoo on? Since you don't have a name or anything, it doesn't sound like this would breach anything.
Yeah, it's sort of not breaching nothing, but I think people know him because of his tattoo. Anyway, it ain't no secret because I already filed the lawsuit. Jaime didn't pay him for installing the bidet or some gym over in Pico Rivera. At least that's what the guy with the butt tattoo says.
Was this particular Ford Ranger driver working the remodel job over at the Nuru massage clinic? You happen to have a little backdoor action? Oh, I mean office in the back?
Oh, yeah. He was helping with the steam room Nazuki wanted built in the old supply closet for Joe Nuru massage oil and undersized towels.
Nothing like picking off workers from the GC remodeling your office.
Yeah, that's the next new client was the short man with the tattoo of the androgynous-looking, fire-breathing dragon on his left forearm.
Oh, of course.
Maybe you've seen him tooling around the Mid-Wilshire area in his desert sand-colored Hummer.
I wouldn't know. It's hard for me to see the tattoos of every driver while I'm minding the road. Say, do these clients of yours have names, or do you just identify them by the vehicles they drive and their tattoos?
Yeah, that would be a good idea if I got their names.
That sort of begs the question, Dombass, how you can file a lawsuit if you don't have their names. Do the summonses say, plaintiff, man with the butt tattoo versus Jaime, and man with the desert sand-colored Hummer often seen in the Mid-Wilshire area?
Yeah, that's another thing I've never thought about.
What kind of case did the Hummer guy have?
It's like this. He accused Jaime of not paying him overtime when he worked weekends.
Was the Hummer guy working on your office remodel also?
I want to answer you as straightforward as I can. I don't understand this, but they said somebody has to take care of the Hummers.
Do a lot of customers at the Nuru massage clinic drive Hummers?
Mr. Gerber, it's a Nuru massage clinic.
Yes.
A lot goes on at the Nuru massage clinic.
Yes.
People undress, the masseuses undress. Things happen in the room that aren't supposed to happen. I hear stuff. People come and leave happy all the time.
So then who did the Hummer man work for if it wasn't Jaime?
A subcontractor of Nazuki, the owner, the famous Nuru nurse who conceived Hanita Orchid Helms in the very chair I built from.
So a subcontractor like a specialty building contractor?
No, aren't you listening? He's on the Nuru nut side of the clinic. His name was Duran or something. I heard he's some big shot.
And this is true. He is. If it's the same guy, I heard him on another radio station saying he was only sexually active member of a certain city council.
Oh yeah, that's his fictional alias.
Weird.
Next, the guy with the flame blue F-150 hired me. I never knew a simple office remodel could be so lucrative for me.
Let me guess. The guy with the flame blue F-150 is also suing Jaime.
Boy, you're a sharp little Girl Scout cookie, huh? The flame blue F-150 driver bought a whole bunch of light bulbs and ice and vibrator for about $1,600, and Jaime never reimbursed him. I'm pretty sure I can settle this one out of court because the F-150 guy's got receipts and everything.
Employers do have to reimburse employees for reasonably incurred expenses associated with their work. I can maybe understand the light bulbs. I'm not seeing how ice and the thing that starts with the V is related to construction work.
Come on, Mr. Gerber, you live in the valley. These guys were working in August doing a concrete pour when it was 1:15 outside. Somebody had to get ice to keep the beer cold.
Actually, you aren't supposed to pour when it's that hot, and beer dehydrates a worker. Still, the other item, the one that starts with the V, how's that work-related, and why so much money for one of those?
And I thought concrete was your trade. Have you ever heard of a concrete vibrator?
Yeah, I've got two of them. I just wanted to lead our listeners down a false path, a dead alley, a cul-de-sac with a dangerous turnaround, one where a bus turning would collide not only into the green slime mailboxes of each retro ranch house on the cute cul-de-sac, but also the pink ostrich ornaments on their plots of soy by their driveways.
That sure sounds dangerous.
Since Nazuki is back from Japan now and your office is her old office, how is that working out?
The only bad thing about that is now she opens all her mail, and I'm not getting none of those new immigration clients out opening her mail when some dame from Japan or Thailand sends Nazuki her pics and asks to work at the Nuru massage clinic. Those letters go straight to Nazuki.
Truly a loss for the immigration nurses of Reseda, given your lack of prowess in immigration law.
We like to say clinic, and my office in the back is in Tarzana.
Is it?
I don't know. Maybe not, because most of my case mail takes an extra long time because somebody always crosses out Tarzana and writes Reseda on the envelope. I guess it takes a month for them to write those 6 letters. And of course, out the 7 letters in Tarzana.
Does that mean, for instance, you're not getting motions and discovery demands in a timely manner?
Definitely not getting my mail before the deadline passes. Guess how that helps me? Come on. You wanna guess?
It doesn't help.
Oh, no, it does. I bring an ex parte motion for relief and extra time to respond on account of me not getting my mail until the opposition time lapses or the discovery stuff is past due.
Presumably the clients billed for that little error on the part of the post office?
Nah, it's an international error on my behalf. I know there are ways I could get the mail sooner, right?
Now a lot of obnoxious lawyers send papers by PDF claiming it's a courtesy copy. Courtesy copy? Do they think I want to print out 15 attachments averaging 150 pages apiece of their moving papers?
Hey, I've got a trick for that. I got my internet guy to automatically bounce any emails opposing counsel sends me.
Dumas, that's the first genius thing I've heard all night.
Why, thank you. That really means a lot to me coming from you.
Oh, we're talking to Dumas, a truly incompetent employment defense lawyer. If you have a real employment case, I would like to hear from you at 877-525-0700. I represent employees throughout California, other states too, for 25 years in California. 877-525-0700 for a real labor lawyer. 877-525-0700 for me, Karl Gerber, workplace lawyer. You're listening to Talk Radio 790, and this is a show that's going to come back in just a couple minutes, and we're going to hear more about this crazy fictional Dumas lawyers defensing of cases and ripping off clients and picking off clients when there's a remodel going on in his office.
But you think they should be free.
You cry, oh why is my bill so high?
Since 1993, the Employment Lawyers Group has been a results-oriented law firm whose goal is to get the client what they deserve. They've represented thousands of California employees who've lost their jobs, been sexually harassed, subjected to employment discrimination, or were owed wages on an individualized or group basis, such as a class action. They have a high rate of success. There are few situations involving employment law that they have not confronted. At the forefront of employee rights, they're often the first employee law firm to confront a new legal issue. For an experienced employment lawyer, call 877-525-0700. That's 877-525-0700. They have call takers standing by. Online, read more about the firm at employeelawca.com. They have offices throughout Southern California. Make your work problem theirs to solve.
Clear thinking. Free discussion. AM 790 KABC.
Now the only thing I want is to have my old job back.
Why? You're listening to Talk Radio 790 KABC. I'm Karl Gerber, a real workplace lawyer, and I don't get my cases when my disreputable office, because I don't have a disreputable office, is being remodeled, but Dombass does. And if you have a case, how much do you think Dombass would charge you? More than any other lawyer. All right, Dombass, on another note, I've been meaning to ask why you gave me the last known address for Myron Alfumbra, pronounced Matting and spelled M&M, when I went looking for him in Queens on episode 36, and why you subpoenaed him to appear in episode 35, in which Egden Weebus appeared on this show.
Have you ever heard of a disgruntled ex-employee?
Have you ever heard of a man named Thomas Jefferson?
Never.
Well, you should have.
Now I'm remembering. Isn't he the professor from Paper Chase, the movie?
Yes, he was, but not the movie about the people going to law school. It was the movie about the guy who had a chase after the tricycle that was supposed to deliver the paper for his copy machine.
Oh, yeah, that's the one of my favorite feature films. Did the guys who founded Dumb and Incomplete make that movie?
No, they just show it in all their stores. Hell, they've got lots of space to project the film. It isn't like they've got a lot in stock there.
Oh, sometimes I like going in Dumb and Incomplete franchise and browsing for bargains. Man of marvels, did I get the best bargains. I don't think they even realized it. Earlier this year, in late February, I was in their frozen office supply section where the products are so obsolete, they're literally frozen, and I see this 2012 calendar in the freezer for 22 cents.
Wow, I never knew you had it in you. You really are much smarter than I thought.
I know. It's the same days of the week as this year, as they had in 2012. They were so dumb at Dumb and Incomplete, they didn't even realize they were practically giving away a completely useful calendar. Oh, I got those suckers.
I think it's smart to have a paper calendar. Too many lawyers rely entirely on electronics and can't get signals in court or outside their offices.
It's sort of hard for me to get on my internet with my IBM XT. It's running some DOS program nobody supports anymore.
Your office computer is over 30 years old?
Yeah, it's a special computer. It used to be Myron Alfumbra's, but back then, when he just went by Myron.
Interesting. When did he add Alfumbra to his name?
Yeah, maybe 18 years ago.
How long has he gone by Alfumbra pronounced Matting?
When I first started working for him, he was just Myron Alfumbra, but then he got big. He was selling 1,000 Berber toupees out of his Queens location. He started telling people Alfumbra was pronounced Matting. Or maybe it was just Myron Alfumbra pronounced Carpet. Or was it Myron Matting and he added Alfumbra to put on his airs? Seem more fancy out of what? Well, anyway, what I'm trying to say is to put it more hairs.
Well, did he always spell all of his M&M, matting, carpet, alfombra?
Oh, no, that's Nuru.
Why all this nonsense?
You're to blame. You write this crapola.
No, I mean, why is Myron, who have all these different names that are pronounced and spelled unlike his real name?
I think he's, how do you say, sephirophratic?
Well, as you know, I saw him doing the 3-plug snip. It was a frightful experience. I got a good look at him. I don't think he's Sephardic. I think he's got a lot of Russian in him. Probably not Polish.
Hey, are you related to him?
I certainly hope not, but my people are all related 20 generations back.
Hey, you Sephiroticas.
I think the word you're pronouncing is Sephardic. I'm not really Sephardic. I just pretend to be a Cuban when the need arises.
Oh, yeah. Well, yeah, that's real convenient.
Oh, kind of like your Brooklyn accent, eh?
Nah.
As I understand things, my grandfather, who was an artist and calligrapher, who changed his last name and tried to look like Disney, went around telling people he was Spanish, so I guess that put a little Spanish in me.
Oh, I see. I think I understand how that works. But I once read a story you wrote in 1990 about that grandfather, and it said he claimed his parents met in the Mongolian mountains. His mother was a traveling gypsy. She was born in Mongolia, and he was so poor he had to live in the kitchen in Boston.
Well, it was later confirmed he was born in Boston and went to Boston Latin. I'm not sure his parents were immigrants either.
Yeah, you an imposter.
Quite possibly.
Wow, that's too much for me.
It's sort of like the facts in a case. Things are not always as they seem.
Or what you're told.
Right. For instance, I'm wearing a phony moustache right now.
And this isn't my real hair on the sides of my big bald spot. I'm wearing right and left piece Berber loop toupees. Hey, they're not even Berber because they're all nylon.
Are you totally bald?
Nah, I think it's more polite to wear these Berber loops on the side.
Is this sort of like during the colonial times when it was considered good manners to cover one's unsightly red hairs with a wig? I'm not making this up. The red hairs in particular, and for you listeners who think I'm making fun of one particular group, I happen to be married to a redhead, and my older son has been accused of being a redhead, but I think he's more blondish orange.
I heard some lady complain about my voice, saying I was making fun of Latinos, but how can I be discriminating against my own gente, huh?
It's pretty hard to know who is who on the radio. Rest assured, this show is about equality, but comedy takes all prisoners, too.
Hey, Gerber, are we the same people?
I certainly hope not!
Hey, did you get re-fingerprinted for the bar?
I've been bombarded with many emails, even a postcard from the State Bar. I've tried to print out the form they have online for my State Bar profile, but it cuts off the first letter and a half on the left side of the form all the way down the page.
That's only happened to you once? That's how all my legal documents come out.
With the first letter and a half cut off? How can anyone make sense out of what you're writing?
Yeah, that's a good point.
I have some issues with a fingerprinting request.
Oh, yeah. You're a criminal. They'll match your fingerprints to the museum, glass over at the Smithsonian display case where the original Remus Helms product, serial number Uno, was heisted a couple years back and never returned.
That long hunk of silicone? Why would I want that god-awful thing?
It's a matter of national cultural heritage. They call it pop culture. Tell me, Mr. Gerber, what crimes did you commit and not get caught for?
That's not really my issue. Not that I pulled off that soft thing heist over at Smithsonian. One of my issues is I'd like to know how many members of the state bar turn up as criminals or person who committed unsolved crimes. So far, I haven't heard any, so I think this re-fingerprinting sounds like a complete waste of our time and money. We were all fingerprinted before we became lawyers. It's not our fault they threw away all that data.
Did you have to get fingerprinted for the Texas bar?
When I joined the Massachusetts, Texas, and Washington, D.C. bar, one of those, for every one of those, I got fingerprinted. I also got fingerprinted when I became a Jewish Big Brother in 2001.
Oh, that is bad. So much fingerprinting. The feds are onto you.
I'm not committing any crimes, at least nothing worse than our president.
Wow. I didn't know you've engaged in conspiracies to interfere in elections and illegal emoluments.
No, I was more referring to pissing on private property the pisser owns.
Yeah, I guess that's not too bad a crime on account of you owning the property and everything. That shouldn't piss anybody off.
All right, look, listeners, I don't take cases from the bottom barrel. I need to have a lot of people call in to get the good cases. So if you've got a real good employment case, 877-525-0700. We are very discriminating. We only take the best cases. 877-525-0700 for quality representation and not the kind of fee Dombass charges. I'm at 877-525-0700. You're listening to the Karl Gerber Workplace Lawyer Show on Talk Radio 790 KABC. We'll be back in just a minute.
If you stop me at parties to wine and moan, I'm billing time.
The Employment Lawyers Group is a results-driven law firm whose goal is to get the right result for the client. They have represented employees with a high rate of success since 1993 throughout the state of California. They're only paid and if they are able to collect money from the employer, so there's not any upfront fees or costs in order to hire them. They have represented thousands of employees who've been terminated from their jobs, sexually harassed, subjected to employment discrimination, or are owed wages in an individualized or group basis such as a class action. Call 877-525-0700. That's 877-525-0700. They have operators standing by. They can also be reached at employeelawca.com. They have offices throughout Southern California. Hire them and make your workplace problem theirs to solve.
No BS. Constitutionally guaranteed. AM 790 KABC.
Talk Radio 790 KABC. You're listening to Karl Gerber, Workplace Lawyer Show. I'm Karl Gerber. I'm a real workplace lawyer, and Dombass is not. So, Dombass, how are you keeping up on all the new employment laws coming out?
Well, let me think. I'm not reading the Daily Journal. I think it's the legal newspaper. I don't read the daily appellate reports about the new cases. I'm not reading any updates online about the new statutes that are coming out. I'm not reading the labor and employment section's monthly thick newsletter reporting all the new developments. I'm certainly not going to any labor and employment continuing education classes. As a matter of fact, I sort of fudge my continuing education hours. Chances are they'll never catch me. Actually, what am I doing to keep up on the new law? Nothing, I guess.
At least that's an honest answer.
Thanks, I appreciate that.
Actually, I don't see how a labor and employment lawyer could competently stay in practice if they didn't do all that stuff you said you don't do, and then do some more stuff you didn't list off.
Hey, what am I missing? I'd like the complete list of what I'm supposed to do just to make sure I ain't doing any of it.
Now, here's my ethical dilemma. Number one, a member of the state bar has an ethical duty to report another member's breach of the state bar rules.
Oh, there's nothing to worry about. Don't you remember I'm a fictional character?
I'm sorry, I forgot for a minute.
And I'd like to add, if I can, I do listen to this show every week from 7 to 8 p.m. on AM 790.
In that case, I guess you are doing something to keep up on the development of employment law.
Yeah, it takes a lot of devotion. Sometimes I even have to go back an episode on iHeartRadio or iTunes because there was some sexy guest like Cindy D. Ooh.
I suppose you've listened to every single episode of this show. If you have, by now, guys, you might have a high school education in employment law.
Wow, that's very impressive. Between the both of us, we don't have high school diplomas between us.
Or a GED.
Well, I wanted to ask you about something. I was wondering what you thought about using a vendor to do client billing.
Well, as a contingency lawyer representing employees, I don't send out regular bills. I do, however, keep track of time spent working on cases for which the employer has to pay my attorney fees if the employer loses, cases for discrimination and harassment, of course, and most scenarios involving unpaid wages, and all scenarios involving class actions where I have to prove to the court the number of hours spent and the value of legal services. I will say this, in order to do a bill for my hours on a complex wage and hour class action involving the underpayment of wages, I once used a transcription service because I was between paralegals who could transcribe from dictation, and the vendor's transcription was horrible.
Well, to tell you the truth, as if nothing I've said up to now is true, my thinking, if you can believe I do think like that, is if I'm ever popped for overbilling a client, I can blame it on the vendor. Claim they must put a lot of double entries in and stuff,
You are a true con artist, Dumas.
Well, I tried to get a job at Subway way back, but I ain't no sandwich artiste.
We can't all be sandwich artists, but at least we can appreciate good sandwich art. But we can't all be Wayne Theobods.
Oh, man, you just saying his name makes me want to eat a pie, a lemon cake, 8 lipsticks.
There's 7 suckers for every one of these shows.
Huh?
Wayne Theobos painted 7 suckers in 1970.
Oh, yeah, Wayne McAllister. He invented the Cadillac, right?
No, the cast of the Cadillac dealership in Sherman Oaks.
Yeah, he worked there while he was going to LACC.
I don't think Wayne McAllister went to Los Angeles City College. I do believe he designed the student lounge or facility at LAVC.
Yeah, but Danny DeVito was a LACC man. They wanted me to give one of my plaid sports coats for a Danny DeVito exhibit over at LACC.
Why didn't LACC just call Danny DeVito? I've heard he's a nice guy.
Well, they said my sports coats are more authentic.
I sort of know what they mean. Your sports coats have been to the track. There's mustard from a hot dog you ate on the street. There's probably some type of cheap beer spilled on them, too.
That would be Blue Ribbon.
Tell me, Dumas, have you won any Blue Ribbon awards as a lawyer?
Well, one judge said for his courtroom I was the record holder for the most sanctions issued against a single attorney.
How are you still in practice?
Oh, those sanctions aren't state bar reportable. $500 a pop, and I pass it off to the client even though the sanction order is against me. Nothing serious. Stuff like failing to serve the other side, pleadings that are illegible, late to court, me forgetting about court appearances. But I don't really forget. I just want a bill for writing that order to show cause, declaration why I shouldn't be sanctioned, and then I get a bill for having to calendar the court appearance twice.
Dumas, you do know you aren't supposed to charge clients for your mistakes, especially intentional mistakes.
Oh, yeah, I ain't no dummy. I know that.
Guess you aren't fazed by the fact you're creating billable errors due to intentional ploys to create mistakes that have to be fixed and then charged for.
Doesn't bother me.
This is insane. Even though you aren't a real lawyer, I feel the need to report you to the state bar.
Hey, like you told me to do. Now I am reformed.
You've reformed your religious practices?
Nah, I'm not even Jewish, not even a quarter.
I'm not seeing a lot of reform here with your professional responsibility.
Well, I ain't billing nobody right now. I'm just trying to get Jaime to pay my clients I picked up. While Jaime's crew is remodeling the front part of my office.
I have some bad news for you.
What? Myron Alfombra pronounced matting, but spelling M&M's is now going to say his name is spelled Dukeekunkenzis, but pronounced altruist?
Now that would be terrible, and we all know Dukeekunkenzis is a name never to be pronounced the same again. But what I was thinking was you stand little chance of being paid by Jaime.
Now why's that? He's got a brand new Ford F-250 Lariat edition with those massager seats and lap dances in the short bed.
Well, I don't know too much about the financing of his truck, but I figure that he's a small employer who deals a lot of cash, and now he's being sued with 3 or more employee lawsuits all at once. I don't think you're going to collect the whole lot.
Correction. I represent 10 of the people who worked with him, but the cases ain't worth much.
Well, that is true. None of them sounded that big.
See, Dombass isn't as dumb as he looks.
Really?
Mr. Gerber, do you have a mirror?
Well, I got this free sample over from Remus Helms' Ostrich Ranch.
Wow! I look like an adult picture star. I never knew that. I don't even look like Ron Jeremy. More like Remus Helms when he was younger and more handsome.
Dumas, there is a painted picture of Remus Helms at 35 on the mirror.
Oh yeah, that's why he looks so big down there. Anyway, with the new clients I got, I'm not planning to make it rich representing them. I'm planning to do a lot better representing Jaime.
How could you do that?
I did a lot of thinking at the Santa Anita before it closed. I figure I can represent both sides. Whatever Jaime pays me might be in cash. I won't have to pay no taxes on those monies.
I think it's time for you, Dumas, to go back to your office in the rear of the Nuru massage clinic.
Yeah, well, maybe I'll see you there. Not in my office, but in front of the place. And it's truly been an honor. Thank you. Thank you.
They're going to have to wash these microphones. That guy, Dumas, he is the epitome of a disreputable employment defense lawyer. But we learn a lot listening to Dumas about how not to represent employees or clients as a lawyer. So if you do have a real case about employment, I would like to hear from you at 877-525-0700. We take class actions, we take sexual harassment cases, disability cases, race discrimination at 877-525-0700. We'll also take cases about unpaid wages at 877-525-0700. We do have numerous offices from Bakersfield down in California, and I have been doing this for 25 years. I have a staff of a lot of attorneys and qualified paralegals, and we don't behave like Dumas, but we get a real kick out of hearing from him. So I hope you guys listen next week from 7 to 8 on KABC 790 to the Karl Gerber Workplace Lawyer Show. If you want to go back and look at some old episodes, you should do it on YouTube. Type up Karl Gerber spelled with a K. This has been really a great show, and thanks for listening, everyone. I don't know if it's been as wonderful as I said it would be. All right, Talk Radio 790 KABC, Karl Gerber Workplace Lawyer signing off.
This show furnished by Karl Gerber and Employment Lawyers Group.